Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to another discourse on problem solving. We are a character. We have a character. We bear a character, certain character of a problem solver. We look at different perspectives through which you see the problem at a later stage. You will see it like a spectrum, all leading to the center. For a while, we will postpone that and look at this journey, the journey of happenings to the point of being concretized, being stabilized as a problem. I don't promise the problems are stable. I don't promise that. But when we attack a problem, when we solve a problem, we tend to see it for a while as a static problem. More about those ideas and those discussions later. So we are looking at problem as it travels, and we are trying to study the character of the problem, like we study a character of a CEO of a company, and then we studied his character when he was a youth. He was a young man. Who made a first appearance for an interview for the first job as a management trainee in a bank. Okay, then we looked at him and when he entered a college and like that. We even talked to his parents and see how he crawled. Did he crawl any other way? So as to become later on a prodigal child, a well-known man in the early 40s. The problem too would have metamorphosed over a period of time. It will metamorphose. If problem has an energy, the energy will keep growing, or it'll get distributed in various other spheres. So therefore, there are diseases which are contagious. And there are problems which are contagious. If one person in the office decides to take rights in his hand, probably few people will forbear, one of them may not, and then you have another people for the company of the person who wants to take law in his own hand, admin in his own hand. He wants to decide when to come, when not to come, what to do, what not to do, how much to do, at what cost. How much to travel, how not to travel. That's why problems are contagious. We look at even this subject separately. So we are looking at the problem growth, the metamorphosis of the problem, and let us say, the first time the problem is conceived, the conception stage of the problem. Then there is a birth of the problem. There's probably the first cry of the problem. There's a crawl of the problem. There is a standing of the problem. There's a walking of the problem. There's running of the problem. There's play of the problem. It's a beautiful model. A growth of a child. From conception to his play. It's a beautiful model, well simulated in the context of problem solving, very, very useful, very vivid. And once we achieve a vividity with respect to anything, as I said, we have 75% of the communication coming from the eyes. So anything we are able to visualize will benefit us that much more. It's a much bigger channel of carrying a data to us. So we look at a house, a one bedroom, hall, kitchen, house. There is a leakage in a pipe joint. There is a leakage in the pipe joint. It happened one moment. It happened one moment. There was a innocuous looking beating of a wall for fixing a certain heavy furniture. It looked innocuous. Your neighbor didn't complain about it. It looked innocuous. So there's a heavy beating of the wall to fit a heavy furniture. And the vibrations traveled to this 1-inch pipe joint, and it opened up an airspace. It became slightly bigger so as to enable a water molecule to pass through. A simulation, not exactly a detour, simulation. When this nitrogen filling came about, I asked somebody, why is it that we have nitrogen instead of air? The reason is that the size of nitrogen molecule is much smaller. It's much bigger than sizes of an average size of molecules of the elements that make up the air. There's carbon dioxide, there's argon, there's nitrogen, and there's oxygen. So we have 100% nitrogen. Since the size of the nitrogen molecule is bigger, it will not exit the tubeless tire or the tube-full tire so easily. So initially there was an air capillary for air, and later on it became a capillary for water. Airtight is more difficult, watertight is not so difficult, relatively easy. So that water channel is formed. There is a gestation period, like the human value of 9 months and 9 days. There is a gestation value when the break or the gap happened and the water started coming. Maybe it was a day, maybe it was 2 days, maybe it was a month, but there was that gestation period available. That gestation period is very important, because had we had a close look at all this happening, the pipe is hidden inside the wall. Nobody can see it unless the symptom appears. Nobody can see it. Had it been, then we had that much time available for us to repair that. So we have the gestation, we have conception and post-gestation. The birth of the problem is the first wet spot appearing on the wall. The wall is very visual, it is right in front of you. The first wetness of the wall, that is birth of the problem. Then comes the cry of the problem. Cry of the problem. Everybody's attending to that. Oh my God, what happened? No, you always keep the water lines on. I mean, how can you close the water lines just because there's a spot appearing? How can you close the water lines? Life quality will deteriorate. If we close on or limit the use of water, it will deteriorate. Plus, that's not a way of solving a problem. Suppose somebody has a problem of digestive issues, it doesn't mean he stops eating. So the spot grows and fills up the whole wall, bigger and bigger each day, bigger and bigger each day. Every day, the head of the family comes back from office. Whether he likes it or not, he has to see the size, the dimension of that. The lady in the house says, "Please have a look at this." The head of the family says, "I've got a couple of meetings next week, so I'm preparing for that. Maybe I'll see it a week later." And then there is a festival coming. Then you want to you don't know whether you should burn money in repairing or you should enjoy the festival. So it goes in the favor of festivals. And again, there's some reason why you're postponing this. Even attending to the problem. Forget about problem solving. Attending the problem. You're attending it psychologically. It is disturbing you. Where from it is coming, where it is going, somebody else is responsible, why did he beat, all those kind of, you are recognizing the problem by creating several helpless accusations also. Then there is a growing fungal activity on the wall. That's the stand up of the problem. A fungal activity. So every time you're passing, you ensure your shoulder doesn't touch that. There's a little child in the family, he's told, don't touch this wall. You write several messages. Untouchable, not touchable, not to be touched. So crawling, standing, and now playing, the water starts trickling on the floor and somebody slips. Somebody has a bad slip. Wakes up with a noticeable damage to the back. Now there is an odor inside the house. A dining table 5 feet away from that spot is now not usable. On the opposite side of the wall, there is a bathroom which is fully tiled, but the tiles are becoming wet from the other side. It would mean over a period of time the tiles will come out. And the danger, there might be electric circulation due to the wetness. So you switch off, you tell your family members not to use this switchboard. That's okay. But the current is inside the wall. And one day, unfortunately, you see the jerk. Unfortunate though, you feel the jerk and you say, now no more. Now no more. The problem has become so tall, the water has risen so much over your nose that you start worrying about life. You start worrying about, so far it was quality of life, now it is life per se. So if you see a profile, do a judgment of 10 people who have faced this problem, you will see 9 of these 10 attended after somebody got the jerk in the wall. And it costed you changing of the wiring, changing of the boards, the electric boards, changing, obviously doing the paint again, changing the finish of the wall, probably changing a bit of a plaster of Paris work you have done. It is probably gotten into one painting and you're wondering whether to carry this, clean it and carry this, or you want to just give it up. In those days, children had problems of where to study. So much of space is gone. That little drop has now acquired a dimension at least 5 by 10 square feet area in a small house, one room, one bedroom, hall, and kitchen. A wonderful demonstrative of how the problems travel. So there's a conception, there is a birth, there is a first cry, there is that crawl, there is that stand up, there is that run, there is that play, and the play of the problem is like a havoc. Everybody's pulling their hair out. Everybody's making accusation. It's you who take a long bath. Come on. It's you who always tie the wet towel on the other side of the bathroom. I mean, look, dear, all a cement wall is supposed to be waterproof. But you're helplessly and hopelessly putting accusations. It disturbs the quality of life. It disturbs the quality of communication. Children are not able to study. You have to now wash your clothes that many more times because you're touching a fungus. People refuse to come to your house. The next door people have now started worrying about where this bad smell is coming from. Teachers in the school are worried why children's academic performance has come down. Probably they are not eating that well these days. They are children, so their performance is directly affected by what they eat and what they don't get to eat. They don't get to eat that stuff minus the bad odor. Now they eat the stuff along with the bad odor. It is worse than eating a stale food. Ladies and gentlemen, we are attending, 9 out of 10 people are attending the problem when there is a play of the problem. There is a whole run for the problem. 9 out of 10. If you're very optimistic, you can discount the figure by 1, not more than that. Probably 8 out of 10 will appear. Majority of them will not attend the problem, hoping that the problem will go by itself, or being so nervous at even look at the problem that you want to take all the medication, all the meditation to forget to overlook the problem. That's her attitude. That's her attribute. But that's the character of the problem. It reaches its pinnacle. Starting from the conception, it reaches its pinnacle when it starts playing and scoring a hell lot against you. Scoring a hell lot against you. But that's what happens. So, as I always maintain, come to problem solving. Come to life. Don't go away.